That's what I tell Lucas. No poison.
That's how you get constipated. You can't
Right.
eat
Sugar is bad.
that. No processed sugar.
Although they do make some decent organic, like knockoff ones that they don't taste as good because they're not nearly as sugary, but it's similar.
Oh.
And they're like gluten free. They use like almond flour and like natural fruit. I mean,
That's not bad at all.
It's an option. I kind of look at those things when I'm in the store for when he gets older and he wants the stuff everybody else has, because we try to stick to pretty healthy organic food.
Mm-hmm. You ready for a life hack, Elena?
What?
You buy a box of whatever cereal he likes, pull the bag out, and then you get the off-brand that looks like it, and you fill the box up.
Put it in. That's a good idea.
Ooh. Kyla and I sauteed, poor Kyla, she's like at my pregnant lady whims. For breakfast, I sauteed zucchini and then cooked that in with rice, egg, and soy sauce. That was breakfast.
That sounds really good, though.
So you had stir-fry breakfast. That's very weird.
That's very bougie.
That's what I wanted.
That sounds really good.
It's delicious. Kyla Gray. Oh, honey. Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking sugary milk.
The trick is to you're eating the opposite. The trick is to saute the zucchini in the cast iron and then add it to the rice, egg, and soy sauce. That's the trick.
What'd you say? And then add the what?
You saute the zucchini in the cast iron first, and then you add it to rice, egg, and soy sauce in a pan.
Yum.
I was embarrassed by my hair, so I wanted to put this in.
I like your
Rachel,
style,
this is
Rachel.
great.
You look so pretty.
Do I look better? I mean, I feel like this is a little bit better.
Do you like
It is. It's perfect.
You have a ranch.
So I can hear it.
Hi, Kyla. You can shut the door.
Hi.
Look at her.
What's up, Jack?
Hey, good morning. Nick got the volume up so loud I can hear you breathing in my outfit.
Say hello. Good job.
Look at her. Hi, Kyla. Hi, baby girl. Hi.
You like her hat?
Did she have her ears pierced when we were over there?
I think so.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
For this baby shower.
Oh, yes.
It's so trendy. I love you, Kyla. I love you, puppy girl.
Actually, you need the allergy shot.
Actually,
I do get allergy shots. It's fine. This is just what I look like normally. So.
oh, look at Kyla. Hi, baby.
All right. Well, I'm going to go sell some life insurance to all the people that are scared.
Good
call.
call.
Yeah. Is this like a good time to sell life insurance? I'm probably freaking out.
It's a great time, but the problem is we have so many restrictions right now.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, could you even do it if they were like, I think I have COVID?
Yeah. If you cough, you can't get life insurance right
Yeah, because don't they have to get a physical?
Yeah, hold on. Let me take your temperature before you sign this application.
Exactly.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Babe, just shut the door.
I'm going to sit here, baby.
Nance, are you gonna sing the Cowboy Boogie song?
I don't know the Cowboy Boogie song because I'm from not Goochland.
Nah, I don't know
It's
it. either.
worldwide.
It's worldwide.
Step in Cowboy Boogie. You don't know that song?
Daniel, no.
Look, I'm not a redneck.
Yeah.
I know that
We're in
song.
Hanover. We don't know those things.
Don't even pretend.
Hanover is more redneck than Goochland.
Exactly.
not.
Parts of it.
I think not.
Sometimes there's like New Kent.
So that's not
Does
Hanover.
anybody not know that song?
That's not
Yeah.
Hanover.
We can ask Laura if she knows it.
Mechanicsville.
It depends on which end of Goochland. The east end is like very
Totally different world. Yeah.
Yeah, west end of Goochland, Like, that place scares me.
Well, we have that too in Hanover.
When those people come to Central, yes, Hanover has the same kind of, and those people come to Central Goochland, and I'm like, huh.
It's opposite in Hanover though. Western Hanover. Well, it's not really Western. It's more like Southern Hanover.
Lucas.
It's a little
Laura,
bit.
the question is,
ghetto.
do you know the Cowboy Boogie song?
Of course, I know the Cowboy Boogie song.
course.
I'm in
Okay,
King William.
Thank you. Somebody else said.
Well, I'm a Short Pump girl, and I recently moved to Hanover, so I definitely don't know the Cowboy Boogie song.
Oh man, I bet if I played it, you'd know it. I mean, they play it at like sporting events.
I don't
Are you in your
Yeah,
office?
you gotta come inside, sister.
I'm in the office.
Did you venture out around people?
Yeah, yeah. There's no one here.
Is that allowed, Daniel?
Is that allowed? They are letting us beyond the borderline, yes, for now.
Yeah, you tell them.
All right, let's get officially started here. Okay. All right. So I think we may have a guest in the meeting, Mr. Hervey. I think you might be muted, so don't say anything too crazy that you don't want anybody you don't know to hear. But we welcome our guest. This is Ben's friend, and let's start with some prayer requests. What you guys got? What can we pray for?
I have one.
Yeah.
So my mom, again, so she's feeling like really defeated right now. Like she's been sad because she's been lonely. So she's kind of getting back to being like normal and not mean. So it's like breaking my heart in that way. But the grocery situation is driving her crazy. Like we can't order groceries for her. She's afraid for me to go to the grocery store and then come to her house and give it to her because, we've been, so that I would just, I don't know, like give her comfort or something. I'm not sure, just because she's been more scared than anything lately. And that's fair. I mean, she's super immunocompromised and now she's starting to feel lonely and all that's kind of setting in. And she just had her second round of chemo and it made her kind of sick. So she's got a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know. I think just like comfort would be the biggest thing for her.
Ashley, I don't know if this would help at all, but I was watching a video from a doctor. It's gone like viral on Facebook.
I was gonna say the same thing.
And so like they do the Lysol, which I do at my house, but if they're not like refrigerated items, he says you can leave them like in a garage or outside if it's not super hot out. And if you leave it out there for 3 days, all the virus germs would be dead. So if it's stuff like bread, cereal, like anything, like canned stuff, anything that doesn't have to be refrigerated, if you get it for her and then drop it, if she has like a garage or something, or somewhere like shady outside, if she waits the 3 days, then she doesn't have to worry about it being infected because the virus would be dead by then.
That's a good idea.
Just a thought. It might, I don't know.
The video that they do on like disinfecting the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
It's really good.
I do it. My husband thinks I'm crazy. He was like, this is really excessive, but I do it.
I support that.
Me too.
I would love a little prayer right now personally. I was looking at the numbers and the charts and the curves and all that stuff yesterday, and I'm not feeling confident that the hospital is actually going to be a safe place in June. Looks like it might not be. And so we need to be making some decisions about where we're giving birth and how we're giving birth in June. And that's a little scary, but it's going to be great. But I do feel like it's possible that the hospital might not be a good option for us in June. I have a virtual meeting with my OBGYN today, but need to be making some choices on that stuff.
That's a good point. Have you thought about a midwife? Birthing center?
Yes, I called a midwife yesterday, and it was really wonderful. She called back last night, which was very sweet of her, and was on the phone with me for an hour and 15 minutes. And that conversation was really great. And she does home births here in Richmond.
Oh, nice.
And I'm also going to look, Tamra, your wonderful wife, gave me some information on birthing centers that I'm going to look into. So we are, there's no stop. So we're looking into birthing centers and also home birth as a better option.
I know a really good doula I could recommend too.
I love a doula recommendation.
Yeah, because I used one. Well, I used two kind of. I used one and she wasn't as good as I hoped that she would be. So this other one who's fantastic kind of came in later in the game and she was wonderful.
That would be, I've been trying to find a good doula and that's been kind of hard. But I really, especially if I am committing to like something like a home birth, I think I might also really need a good doula. So that would be amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll text it to you.
Awesome. Okay. That's a good prayer request. Anything else we can pray for or give praises for? Thankful for. All right. That said, I will pray. Get started. Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Cool. All right. Heavenly Father, God, we love you. We praise you, God, for who you are. We praise you for being a God of order and control. And just we can have the confidence knowing that none of this stuff happening is out of your sight and surprises you, God. And so we know that you love us. We know that you have a plan for us to prosper, not to harm us. And we're holding on to those plans, God. And even though we don't see the future sometimes, the next day, the next month, what will happen, God, but we can rest on the peace of knowing that you can see it and you know and you love us and you want the best for our lives. And so we just put our faith and our trust in you. And we thank you for that, for just giving us that faith and that confidence that we can have in you. And we lift up these requests. We lift up Ashley's mom as she's just dealing with some anxiety like many, many people are, God, right now. But she's kind of got an added level of that as she's going through chemo and fighting a sickness through all of this stuff, God. But I pray that you just give her a peace in this time and give Ashley just the ability to help her and guide her through and just be a word of encouragement, confidence, and peace for her when she needs it. Let her be able to just eat her food and groceries and not worry about it. God, let her wake up and just be able to have energy for the day. Let her, when she goes to sleep, God, let her sleep well and rest deeply, God, and give her good dreams and good thoughts. And we lift up Katerina and her family as they're trying to make decisions on where to have this next baby. God, we pray that you just continue to grow that baby healthy and protect her and protect him in that womb, protect Katerina and give Tyler just the confidence and the ability just to lead and give direction and support. And God, we pray that you give them the right person, whether it's a midwife or OBGYN or whatever it might be, the person to come in and give good advice. And God, I pray that that place where this baby is going to be born is being even prepared right now, that place is going to be a safe, clean environment, God, where this baby can come into the world. And God, we just pray for that right now and give Katerina peace during this time. Pray for this meeting time, God, and we thank you for each person that's come here, that's joined in virtually, God, how we can, and we thank you for just the ability to do that, even though, we're told to separate from ourselves. God, technology has allowed us to stay connected. How awesome is that? We thank you for that. And we pray that you bless this meeting. Let us learn something, become better at our craft, learn how to serve people better, and grow closer to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, I got a quick Devo for you guys. This is from Psalm 34, 12 through 14. Psalm 34, 12 through 14. So, this is so weird, not like seeing everybody. I'm like scrolling through so I can see everybody's face. Only a few people want to show their face. It's so sad. All I see is static pictures of other people. All right. Oh, whoa, there's Nance. Okay.
Hi.
Just kidding. Hey, all right. So let me read this. It says, what man is there who desires life, or woman? What man or woman is there who desires life and loves many good days that he may see good? Raise your hand if you desire life and want good days. Okay, boom. If you desire life and want good days. So that's you. And this tells you what to do right here. if you desire these things, keep your tongue from evil and turn your lips from speaking deceit. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Seek peace and pursue it. So I don't know if you guys saw, I just put a little Facebook post out last night. I was just sitting on my front porch. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful evening. I mean, these last couple evenings have been like picture perfect temperature, no rain, and just, it was so gorgeous, and the sun setting, and you have cotton candy colored clouds in the background. And, my kids are just running around the yard giggling. I'm pretty sure they're happy as they've ever been during the coronavirus. And, literally the only sounds are them, and then a couple little crickets and maybe frogs down at the pond. And then I can hear a sprinkler in the garden. And I'm just like, man, this is like peace. This is tranquility. This is what that is all about, is peace right now. And then it was just so weird. I was pondering all this stuff, how, going on in the world, it's like this terror and fear and, all this anxiety and crazy stuff going on. And we can't even see the enemy. That's the weird thing, is like, it's almost would make more sense if there was like a terrorist running around, and we could identify him, and you could put a face to that person, and you could say, well, there's the enemy. Let's all unite against him. But it's this odd, weird enemy that you can't really put your finger on. But it is giving us opportunities that I think we wouldn't have ever had. But I was just thinking about it, how the world is kind of in turmoil, but our little world at our house and our property there it was in peace, as much peace as it's ever been. And it made me start thinking that, that is what God gives us the ability with the Holy Spirit. If you are a follower of Jesus and you have the Holy Spirit inside you, you have the fruits of the Spirit. One of them, which we talk about, is peace. And you have that inside you. You can have that tranquility. You can have that peace despite what's happening in the world around you. And it could be in your family, in a marriage, and your workplace, your whatever it might be. This world might be in turmoil, but God's given you peace inside. So it says, if you want a long life, if you want a good life, if you seek good days, this is like the game plan for it right here. And the first he's talking about, speaking, turning away from evil. Don't let your tongue speak evil. Don't speak deceitful things. And then it says, turn away from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. And I think it's like, it's a double point there. He's like saying, seek peace and pursue it. What do you guys think it can practically mean to seek peace and pursue it? Anybody that wants to chime in, I'd love to hear what you guys think. How do you pursue peace?
You can start by not dwelling on negative things.
Sure. Yep. Get rid of the evil things. Turn away from evil can just be turning away from evil thoughts, in your mind. Yeah, that's step one, definitely.
I think something you said. Oh,
Go
sorry.
No, go for it.
Like your mindset. I know we've been talking about that too, but that's basically kind of what both of you are saying. But if you don't focus on the negative, like bad things are going to happen. But if you're like, well, I'm glad this happened because now, like, for instance, what's going on right now, this mandatory, quarantine, it's bad. Yeah, it's hard, but it's good because now none of us hopefully will get it. So if you look at it that way, like, oh, my mom won't get it now because she would have just been out at the grocery store shopping, just carrying on. She's like, I love Walmart or whatever, she could have potentially gotten it. But if you look at it like that, like, I'm like, wow, I'm grateful that this quarantine is happening. I think like your mindset has a lot to do with it because that puts me at less anxiety. I'm like,
sure.
Okay, well, that helped.
Yep. Yeah. Looking at the positives. Yep. That's good. How else? Anybody else have any other thoughts?
I think seeing it, kind of recognizing it like you did on the porch, because the Bible says, seek and you will find. Mm-hmm. So being open and receptive to seeing those peaceful moments in your life, recognizing them and seeing them for what they are. The way to seek something, you have to look for it. Yeah. Looking for peace, I think you'll find it a lot more than not.
That's so good. I mean, yeah, when you pursue something, it's like, when I think of the word pursue, I was pursuing my wife, and it wasn't just like I was passively like, oh, I hope she'll notice me, or I hope that, maybe she'll learn to like me like I like her. No, I was pursuing her. Like I had a point, I had a goal, and she was the goal, and I was trying to impress her and trying to get her to like me and, serve her, and, as her love grew and stuff like that. But yeah, when you pursue something, that's an added level, right, of going after it. I'm going to pursue, like you pursue, it's like you pursue someone who is, escaped from prison, they're in hot pursuit. I don't know. I think of that word, but it's not a passive thing. I think what you're saying, Ben, is a great point. It's active. Or are you looking for that? Are you looking for peace? Are you looking for, the peacekeepers? Are you looking for the people around you who are keeping peace? Are you looking for peaceful moments? And I think that's a great point. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Having passages that you go to for that, for me, it's like, yes, Kyla. Psalm 23 has been it's my favorite. Yeah, hi. Psalm 23 has been my favorite passage for a long time.
Yep.
It's something that I would have been reciting a lot, and yesterday was reciting it as I was trying to go to sleep, because I think focusing on kind of just what Ben said is like when you're actually pursuing it, sometimes you have to have something like that to fill your mind with.
Yeah, that's a great one. That one brings a whole new meaning when your life is in turmoil, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, all that stuff. He leads me down to still waters. And all that stuff, like the imagery makes so much more sense when your life is in turmoil. And it's like, okay, now I get what he meant. I'm saying now I get what he's going through. And even though it's all relative, this virus thing is so relative. I was watching, I saw an image of people in India right now. And, can you imagine, being in a country so poor, you're struggling to get food and you're jam packed in areas. And then all of a sudden they throw a virus in, and it's like, oh gosh, how could it get any worse? But we still are fine. We still have food. We still have shelter and stuff like that. So, everything is all relative, depending on how you look at it, but that's good. All right, cool. Well, that's what I got for you guys. So just, if you want to read that verse over, Psalm 34, 12-14, seek peace and pursue it. Look out for those peaceful moments. All right, cool. I got a few announcement type things. So is Rachel Stagg on here? This is so weird. I don't even know who's here. I'm scrolling down. Rachel Ness, Goza Taylor. Okay, I don't see her. She's got a Facebook page where she's created called Richmond Hands and Feet. And I would encourage you guys to join that. I think it'd be cool if we as a group kind of got behind it, and as individuals, really. It's basically, the idea is that she's coordinating making masks and supplies for nurses. It kind of started as that. So you sign up, and you, if you can either get material or you can sew or whatever, you do it, and then they're bringing it to people in hospitals and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But it's also kind of morphed into, I think, if people are just in need right now. So you sign up and you fill out this Google form if you either have a need or you want to help support a need. And elderly people shut in, maybe they're uncomfortable going to the grocery store and they don't have someone local to get them groceries, anything, whatever it might be. She's basically just connecting people. So check it out, Richmond Hands and Feet. It's a public group. Invite people to it. I would encourage you guys to support it. It's a great idea, and we'd love to back her on that, because it's a good thing. Times like this, like it really does bring out the good people. What was the movie that had the quote where it said, in times of war or something like that, look out for the helpers. Look for the helpers. I forget what that was, but it was such a good quote, because that's the type of people, and that's who you want to be. That's when character is revealed, when you're put to the test, and then the good people come out. So we want to be part of that good people movement there. So check out Rachel's group. Nance is YouTube famous. I watched this video this morning. She put a video up. She's on this video. It was put up yesterday. It has 150,000 views on YouTube already. So check it out. Roll with Cole and Charisma.
Good job.
They're super famous.
Dang,
Yeah.
girl.
And I told Nance this morning, I was like, I'm pretty sure you were like you stole the show on this thing. I mean, the her friends are really cool, and they've obviously created a following. But Nance was funny in that thing. She was doing like the walking down the steps thing where you go like this and you're going down steps and just trying to put light in a humorous situation. They did a closing outside and they drew this line, like all the family on this side, all the closing people on this side, and I don't know, Nance was doing cheers. And if you want to see her doing cheers with somebody, watch that video. It's pretty funny. But YouTube's a great resource. I was just thinking about it. It's like, man, what kind of exposure can you get, influence can you have on people, positive influence through a channel like YouTube? Like these people, Cole and Charisma, would never have had the opportunity probably to make a TV show because it requires funding and support and producers and all this stuff. But they have a couple cameras and he edits it, and then that's their income. They provide for themselves. Her friend, so Cole is a quadriplegic, and the Charisma, they're as his fiance. They're engaged. They just bought a house, and they're really sweet. So I started watching a bunch of their videos. You get sucked in. So check that video out. And then Ben's podcast, Ben Swife's Good with The Good Life. He interviewed Betsy, and I listened to that this morning. That was awesome. It was really cool. Betsy just shares her story and how she deals with anxiety coming on, and I think it's a lot of good stuff in there. Very encouraging for people that are going to listen to that. But Ben's podcast is awesome. I'm sure he would like if any of you guys have something you've overcome. I think that's the idea of Correct Ben is, it's if you've overcome something in your life, he wants to hear the story about it. Am I correct?
Yep. That's it. Yep.
Yeah. So check it out and talk to Ben about it, about being on it. It's pretty cool. Let me hear. I want to hear 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds if you have a listing coming up or that is listed that you want to promote and promote it. Give me your 30-second commercial on it so everybody can see and hear. I realized we need to do this more often. Ashley posted something in the Richmond Mastermind group yesterday, which finally she's a member of, and Ben, we finally got him after years.
It only took like 6 months, but I'm
not
there.
blocked. But she posted it in there, and she's like, I'm looking for a rental in Mosley under $2,200. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Elena's mom, Barbara, has one being built that's going to be finished in like next month or something, 2 months. And I said, we need to talk about that more because that's the rental right there. It's a nice. So give me 30 seconds. Whoever wants to go first, jump in. A listing that you have now or coming up.
I have one.
Okay.
It is going up this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. It's a 55 and over in Hanover County, the Bluffs of Bell Creek. It's first floor master. It's got 3 full bathrooms, and it's probably I don't have it in front of me. I think it's like 1,700 square feet. All new paint inside. It's getting a new AC unit today, and it's going to be $299.
All right. So thanks to Miss Brittany, who I think is on here. We have an ad running that's been running for close to a year now. I think May would be a year, where we're generating 55 plus buyers, and I'm pretty sure everybody on our team has some of those people in your database. All you got to do, go to your Follow Up Boss, filter 55 plus, or maybe the lead source, the tag, or the lead source, probably both of them, and send a blast message out to all those people. Hey, we've got a listing coming in the Bluffs of Bell Creek. It's under $300,000. It's a 55 plus community. It's this, whatever, everything Nance told you. If you want more details, I'm sure she'll give it. And send a message out to all those people. Just send a blast text, send a blast email. You can sell it before it hits the market, or you can generate some more interest, give your clients value. That's awesome. Who else has got something?
Me.
What you got?
I have a house on Rock Castle Road.
Hey, Teresa.
That
Yeah.
will, that will hit. We're at least by Thursday. It's 3,130 square feet finished, and then there's about 1,000 square feet unfinished upstairs.
Nice.
2-car garage. It has a whole house generator, quartz countertops, 3.5 baths. It's on 17.906 acres. It has all the upgrades that you could possibly ask for. Gas fireplace, recessed lighting, double convection oven. It's actually a 12 setting double oven.
Can you tell us the address again?
1555 Rock Castle Road.
And where is it at?
It's in Goochland.
Okay.
It's just
How much?
west of the courthouse.
How much?
Brittany Fleming, take notes on these so we can put them on our Facebook page, Por Flavor. How much is it, Teresa?
We're still working on that. Had the appraiser come out yesterday, so he was impressed with all the upgrades. So he was pretty confident that it would be on the higher end and around 525, 550 maybe. But we'll see what he comes back with. It's even he was impressed with the way that it was built. It's built with 2x6s and not just regular 2x4s. It has spray.
Oh, yeah.
It has spray-in insulation. That fancy stuff that's sprayed.
Yeah.
The crawl space is also
Condition.
has the plastic down. The porches are concrete, so instead of board, it's all concrete porches. So that makes it a lot nicer. It's my sister's house. She built it, and she's disabled, so the way that she built it is lower to the ground, so it's no more than 2 steps to get into the house from outside.
Thanks.
So it has a laundry room that's just as big as a nursery. It has a formal living room. I'm sorry, a formal dining room, foyer way when you walk in. 9-foot ceilings and 10-foot ceilings throughout the house. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It's pretty nice.
Cool. Estimated day on market?
No later than Friday, but it may be Thursday.
Okay, cool. The 17 acres, 18 acres, that's the real big kicker. I think that will make it unique.
Yeah, 'cause
sounds like a
there's
nice
nothing-
house as well.
Yeah, it's nothing available with this type of house with this acreage. So
Yeah.
that's why we went on got an appraiser, because it was tough.
Pretty unique.
Dana, you were
Yep,
helping me a little bit.
exactly. Yep, it's unique.
So I think the acreage will be a really good bonus for this place. So
If somebody has a buyer, could they get in before Friday?
definitely.
All right, just reach out to you. Okay.
Yep. Just let me know.
Awesome. What else y'all got?
There's the brand new house on Cheney Creek, but if you want Teresa's sister to be happy, you'll sell her house instead, and she can just.
It's her first night. No, bring me a buyer.
Yeah. Either way works totally fine for me. You either need to bring me one or bring her one. One or the.
Bring me one.
But I would like Teresa's sister to be over here. So
Yes.
So we have the brand new, beautiful one there. And then I still have that renovation on Mannequin coming up. It's so close to being done. I just need him to get his final details together.
Price on that? Price range?
$219. Teeny tiny house, great piece of land, really cute tiny house.
$219. How big is the house?
Teeny tiny.
Like
2 bedroom, 1 bath.
Gotcha.
But it's a very nice piece of land on Mannequin, less than 10 minutes from the mall.
Cool.
Hard to find something like that.
Awesome. And then, all right. And you guys saw I don't know if you saw the video. We have one on Fairgrounds Road, potentially be able to sell it off market. The owner said bring a buyer. He may rent it, but it would be an awesome buy. And there's not anything really like this. It's 1,200 square feet, 215. It's a little bit better than Katarina's, but Katarina's is in a much better location. But this one is on Fairgrounds Road. Renovated, new carpet, new paint, new kitchen, new heat pump, new roof, new septic system. I mean, the house is ready to go. So it's one of those houses. As soon as you turn on Fairgrounds from 522, it's on the left. This is one of them you can't really see though. It's kind of over a little hill, but it's great. All right. Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
mine also has on-demand hot water, so it doesn't have. You turn the hot water
tankless.
on.
Yeah,
You never
tankless
run
system.
out. Yep.
Yep, those are awesome.
Not a good thing.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Ben, what you got, man?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Here is the quote of the day. The fear of loss is greater than the desire for gain. The fear of loss is greater than the desire for gain. So in other words, the way I take that as fears trump gains. Fears trump desires for gains. Has anybody lately, maybe in the last 2 weeks, been a little fearful of anything? Anybody been fearful of losing real estate deals? Has anybody lost real estate deals in the last 2 weeks?
I think we've lost 5 or 6.
Yeah, I've lost 2.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, my mic wasn't working. Yes and yes.
Yeah. So there's a fear going on, right? And I'm not saying we should live in fear. And the good preacher would say, live by faith, not by fear. But maybe that preacher wasn't in a pandemic where you got to provide for your family and your business requires you to go out and talk to people. But we shouldn't live by fear. But this quote is making it pretty clear that fear is a part of life, right? I mean, you can act all holy and you can put everything on your faith and say, I'm going to choose not to have fear. But fear is something that you don't really choose to have. It just comes up. You know, situations, life brings about fear. And so understanding and learning that fear is just something that's going to come, then you can use fear to get certain things that you need. So you think about fear trumping desires. You think about people don't go out and buy a bunch of toilet paper to gain more toilet paper in their house. They go out and buy a bunch of toilet paper because there's fear of not being able to get it next week. People don't go to the grocery store and say, I'm going to go buy a bunch of groceries because I want to save money and start eating at home to gain more revenue and more income. People go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of groceries. And the reason grocery stores are out of groceries is because people have a fear of not being able to go to the grocery store. Like if a snowstorm is coming, people run to the grocery store and buy all the groceries because there's a fear of not being able to go. Fears trump desires. So in the last couple of weeks, I realized something that I was doing through these fears and these troubling times is I was really trying to stay in touch with my people more than ever before. Because when you lose a couple transactions and when you have fears that you could lose more, you tend to look at your little list of people, your active clients, and you stay in touch with them more regularly. So every day I'm looking at my list over here and I'm making sure I'm staying in touch with them. I mean, I'm on Zillow looking for a for sale by owner. I'm like scoping out everything I can, trying to find people a house, trying to stay in touch with them, making sure that everything's still on track. That do they need anything? Have they lost their job? You know, I'm going over and beyond for my active clients and my people because I don't want to lose them, right? Because I don't want to lose a deal. So I thought, what if we use this same mentality when there's no virus? What if we treated every client like, not out of fear of losing them, but what if we treated them in a way where we're so in touch with them and following up with them so much, we don't want to lose them, and we don't want them to lose a house, that we're purposely staying in touch with them more than ever before, that we're going above and beyond, and every day we're actually doing our job and trying to find them a house instead of just putting them on an auto search and once a week on a task where let me just send them an email automatically. What if we actually are intentionally talking and communicating and following up with all of our people that we're currently working with? What would that do for our business? What if we take what we're learning to do during this time and implement it into our business in the future? What if we were to use fear to gain our desire, not lose our minds? What if we were to use the fear instead of the fear using us? It reminds me of another quote that says, people are motivated by inspiration or desperation. And so in desperate times, we tend to get a little more motivated. In desperate times, we tend to make a few more phone calls and reach out to a few more people and get a little bit out of our comfort zone during a pandemic when our back's against the wall and I got to pay the rent, I got to pay the mortgage, so I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to do a little extra today. What if we had that mentality when there was no pandemic? What if? What if? The fear of loss is greater than the desire for gain.
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Before we get into a couple other things, I want to hear from you guys, as many people will be willing, something briefly that you are thankful for right now. What are you thankful for in this moment?
This little chucha.
Aw.
It's good. What else? Who else? No.
A spouse who's not going to lose their job because of this
Ooh.
virus.
Good one.
I am thankful for all of you and my family and friends.
Thankful for you, Teresa. Who else? Who else?
I'm thankful that my son comes home from college every year that he's gone to college. It's really
That
special.
That he doesn't stay there.
Yeah. Sent him to college, came home, he had pneumonia. Sent him to college this year, came home, pandemic. Win-win for me.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Who else?
Thank you for good
Get
health.
to work in the yard and play outside and have fun.
Work in the yard, play outside, have fun. Debbie, you said good health.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. I love it. It's a good way to
This
start
one's
the
kind
day.
of silly.
Oh, what'd you say, Brittany? Oh, there's Brittany.
Sorry.
Go for it.
This one's kind of silly, but I did want to say too, though, that like I'm thankful because I've kind of been able to see how God has been providing for us. Like, I mean, always, but even right now, my heart just breaks because there's a lot of people who are trying to get married and are having to postpone and just like stop everything, and it just like breaks my heart. And so I'm just thankful too. You know, I've been talking about it with my family. It's just like how the Lord provided for us last year, because yesterday is 1 week away. Like my wedding was on April 6th. So like it would be happening, you know, pretty much right now. And I'm just thankful. I just feel like so humbled and just like blessed to be able to already be in my home with my husband and safe and sound and provided for. And so I'm just really grateful.
Good. Yeah. A lot of people's wedding plans are kind of ruined. That is true.
Oh, can I add a little
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm thankful for how hardworking this team is, because you guys are keeping the deals rolling in, which keeps me busy.
Yeah. It is amazing.
Yay! Coleman said that we had like the most listings that he's like ever had or something last week. Is that true?
That he's ever put up. I don't know. Duke could tell us.
Yeah. I
Duke
think
could tell
that's
us
pretty
this
cool. I mean,
coming on here.
Coleman said he was so busy last week with listings. I think that's pretty awesome.
Awesome. That's a good thing.
I'm thankful for extra time that I get to spend with Lucas and Brad while we drive each other crazy. Sometimes it's still nice to be able to drive each other crazy. You know, like a lot of times you're at daycare and you're at work and you're just doing things like a machine. And now we get to just actually like have conversations and like little projects around the house and just be around each other.
That's awesome. Yeah, he said, Duke said we put 4 live in one day. I think 3 of those are probably the Mrs. Taylor stuff. But sorry, Lena, that's good. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're in the same boat where we're like kind of driving each other crazy because Tamara's home. We have all 4 kids home, and this is the first time really I've been in the office in a couple weeks for long term, and so, you know, but it's good. Like there's positives in all of it. When we can get through the little bit of chaotic moments, it's like, well, this is nice. Like I get to reconnect with my favorite humans in the world, you know. And like I said, I'm pretty sure my kids think this is the greatest time ever because I'm just like, you know, outside pushing them on the swings and or working in the garden and playing in the woods and more than I would have been for sure.
I'm super thankful for, I didn't say mine, but I was trying to think how to word it for like you and the team and Katarina. So a lot of you guys don't know, but back like a year ago really is when Katarina was like, you need to come to our team. And I was like, yeah, I'll come, whatever. And I met you in the summer of last year, right before I left Ryan Homes. And that was like horrible. Like they were like, if you want to be a real estate agent, like you need to leave, whatever. And you guys were like, well, just come here. And it wasn't even like a question. Like I felt so nervous to interview with you, Daniel. And you were just like with open arms. You're like, no, you'd be great. Like just come on. And I wish I would have done it sooner. So I'm just super grateful for y'all, both of you guys and everyone on this team. Cause without a good friend, like get you a good friend and I can attest to anybody that you're trying to get to join the team. Like I should have done it sooner and I did it because of course you're scared, but I would have been rolling in it now if I would have done it back then. So
you're rolling now. You're doing really well. But yeah, I mean, the earlier you start on something like real estate, the better it is, you know, because it's a long-term game. But you're doing really well. We're thankful for you. Thank you. It's awesome. All right. Do a little bit of a training moment here, and then talk one more thing after this. If you guys are on your computer, you can pull up a buyer agreement somewhere. The form it's just called CVRMS Exclusive Right to Represent Buyer Agreement. I'm trying to see what form number it is. Anybody know? 305, CVR 305. Is that correct? But this is one that we don't focus on as much as getting a listing signed. You know, it's like the buyer agreements are just for whatever reason not as a priority. And I mean, I know some reasons. I'll tell you why I think. But it is important. It is technically required in our state. It used to not be. When I started in real estate, it was not required. And then all of a sudden they came on and it was not well received by real estate agents, most of them anyway, where they said, you know, it's an awkward conversation. You know, I'm not, you know, I even know, you know, our leaders at the other company were saying like, you know, I don't get people to sign it. Like people were telling me that stuff. But I think it's become more accepted nowadays and more understood. Where other states, they've had these for a long time, the buyer agreements. But the point and the goal of these is, you know, and I tell people basically when I'm explaining it to somebody is that, you know, it's making it official that I am going to work for you on your interest and your behalf to help you find a home. And you're not going to work with 3 other real estate agents that show up at the closing table and they all want a piece of the commission. And that usually makes people chuckle a little bit, you know, depending on how you put it. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Because a lot of times people just don't get it. Like, they don't understand how real estate agents get paid. They either think they're part salary, they get paid by the broker per hour, or they're all paid, they all work for the seller. That's probably the biggest misconception, that everybody works for the seller's agent. But the beauty of this buyer agreement is that you can get paid and it doesn't cost your buyer client anything, right? And so we had an instance not too long ago where a lady had called us, and she had called. I mean, there's a good chance she's talked to several of you guys, but I know several other real estate agents she's talked to that aren't in our company, and she just didn't know, honestly. So she's looking for a piece of land to build a house on, and she's very sweet lady, just very, very nice, just naive in how the process works. And I've talked to her a few times over the years, and I finally told her, I said, look, you want to hire an agent. You'll want to hire an agent, because what she was telling me, she was like, well, I mean, these people weren't calling me back. And she's like, I went to walk on a property, and she said the property sign said no trespassing. And then he said he wrote in the word survivors will be prosecuted, and implying that this guy's going to shoot people. And she said, oh my gosh, she said, when I saw that sign, I just walked away real quick. I said, well, were you with an agent? She said, no. I was like, well, there's a reason, you want to have a real estate agent with you, partly because of your own safety. And I said, this guy's probably having people trespassing on his property, and he just got fed up with it and put that sign up there. So basically I told her, I said, you want someone to work on your behalf. And when you commit to a real estate agent, they're going to commit to you in a greater way. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're calling somebody on this property, you're calling another agent on this property, and nobody's ever going to really work hard for you. You want somebody to work hard for your interests on your behalf, and they can help you with any property. They're not limited to just our company's properties. A lot of people think that. A lot of people think somebody asked on one of our ads this morning, what else do y'all have in this price range? And I'm like, something like that. And then somebody said, do y'all have any homes in Chesterfield? And I'm like, yes, we have 1 million homes in Chesterfield. Not our company listings, but we can help you with any home in Chesterfield. And so people just don't understand. So I want to kind of go over this and just my quick little script with it, and you guys can use it, modify it, adapt it, use your own, and use it during the time that's appropriate, right? I mean, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you what the rule is. When the moment you're giving significant advice on a property, you're supposed to have this buyer agreement signed, right? The moment you're giving significant advice, and you're not representing the listing necessarily. So obviously, and if you're representing the listing, you're not giving the buyer advice on it. So you can technically show property, not get these signed. You can show a bunch of property and be in compliance and be good. But the moment you start giving like advice on it, that's when you're supposed to have it. Now I'll tell you what I do from a practical purpose. I never tell somebody I'm not showing you property until you sign this. A lot of people do that. If you get there at that point, that's fine. I wouldn't have built a significant business if I did that every single time. I don't believe. But I'll meet somebody if it's a new lead, if it's a new person or referral or whatever, internet lead. I'll meet them at the property. I'll show them. We'll talk. We'll hit it off a little bit, build a little rapport. And if we're looking at 2 or 3 other properties, I'll wait till the last one, and then I'll present this, and I'll say, this is just a buyer agreement. I'll just give you the script that I use. All this says is I'm working for you, and like I said, that you're not hiring 4 other agents to help you, and I'll show up at the closing table to try to get commission. And it says I am committing to you as an agent, and our brokerage is committing to represent your interests and negotiate on your behalf. This doesn't mean that you have to buy anything. You don't pay me anything, and you can cancel this at any time, right? I always tell people those 3 things. You don't have to buy anything. It's not a contract to buy. You don't owe me anything, and at any moment you can cancel this. Take it home, look at it. If you have questions, just let me know. I never ask people to sign it the first time I meet them, and I hand it to them. Everybody always takes it, and a lot of times they take it home, they forget about it, and you can bring it up later. You can say, hey, did you look over that agreement? Did you have a chance to read it over as you're growing. I don't really push people to it because I think you can push people away if you're trying to urge them to sign something. So it is a tricky thing. So you kind of got to use your intuition with that. So with that said, I was just going to go over just a quick clause on here. We don't have to go over this whole thing, but just so we understand what this is, you guys should know all these agreements. You should know them like the back of your hand. You should be able to say section 1 says this, section 2 says this, section 3, and summarize it, right? I'm not saying you need to know every single word, but just be able to give a summary point of what these things say, from the listing agreement to the buyer agreement to the purchase agreement. There's 3 things you need to know very, very well. A great agent knows these things well. So agreement as of this day, and then it lists the parties, obviously, and then it says we're going to work together to find a certain type of property. I always put just single family home. So, but if you're not sure if the buyer is going to look for a piece of land or house, I'll say single family or unimproved lot or something like that. Agreement will commence on this date and then end on whatever day you say. I usually put 2 to 3 months, something like that. I'll tell people, let's put 3 months. Again, if you want to cancel it, cancel it. You got something, Scott?
Yeah, I don't think you have to put anything in there. It says you don't have to select anything as far as the property type. Correct?
Oh, correct. Yeah.
So if you just leave it blank, you're covering yourself.
If applicable. Yeah. Acquisition property includes any purchase option or exchange of any real property agreement to do so. Optional if applicable. Yeah, you can check this box. Otherwise, you're still fine. That's a good point. So the term, you can make the term for 1 day if somebody's acting a little apprehensive and they're saying, well, I don't know. I mean, like I think Elena had a case not too long ago where the guy was like, well, I've got a friend that's a real estate agent, but can you show me this house? So she just made it for that specific property. She said, okay, well, just, as our company policy, I'll make this for this specific property. And you can make it expire the next day or whatever. But of course, if he comes back and he buys that property, it could still apply. Section 3, this is what I'll go over, and we'll leave it at this. Broker shall represent buyer as a standard agent in this brokerage relationship and locate property available for purchase and suitable to buyer, unless otherwise provided by law or buyer's consent in writing. This is important. To the release of information, broker shall maintain confidentiality of personal information, financial information, and other matters identified as confidential by the buyer that is received from the buyer, of course, brokerage relationship. So what does that mean? I think where we break that a lot of times is in an effort to like make a deal happen or bring a connection to our clients with the listing agent or the seller or whatever. Maybe we find out that the seller is a physician, right? And then we say, oh yeah, my client's a physician as well. Yeah, they have they're going to make a connection here. And we say that in an attempt to make a connection. Technically, you're not supposed to do stuff like that. Technically, our job is confidentiality, part of our job. So we're not supposed to say what they do, their job. We're not supposed to talk about how much money they have. Why do you think that could be detrimental? Anybody comment on that?
Well, I will say if you get permission from your client,
yeah,
you should be able to talk about it, but yes.
Exactly. Yeah, if they give you permission, that's totally fine. Ask them that permission if you think it'll help the deal. But why would that be? Why would confidentiality in this case be? Why is that even a rule?
Well, in the scenario you brought up specifically, somebody could hear, oh, the other person who's buying is a physician. Why am I going to negotiate on the price when they could full well be able to pay what I'm asking?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. When we don't even realize that we could be hurting their negotiating position. And I've been in those situations before where I've been on the side where my client says, oh, they do this. They make a lot of money. Screw them. I'm not giving them any closing costs. Screw them. I'm not going to negotiate off my asking price. And it actually hurt the other side. And so that opened my eyes and saying, like, I should not divulge any of that type of information to this other side because it could be detrimental. If broker is not the listing firm of the seller, broker shall represent solely the interest of the buyer in all negotiations and transactions regarding the acquisition of real property and shall reject any agency relationship with the seller unless consented in writing by the buyer. So in other words, you are representing your buyer provided that you're not representing the seller or our broker. Now, our brokerage is not representing the seller, right? The moment that happens, you write an offer. For instance, Teresa wrote an offer to Katarina's listing. She has to get it in writing because the buyer agreement says you're representing the buyer unless the broker represents the seller as well. So they had to get it in writing, which is called the unrepresented party disclosure, right? No, I'm sorry, that's not what it is. Designated representation disclosure. Designated, right? So designated means that both parties are represented under the same brokerage umbrella, and then it's designated that this agent represents this person, this agent represents this person. Does that make sense? That's very, very important because if a deal falls through and there's any question about did you do the right thing? Were you looking out for your client's interest, whether it's the seller or the buyer? That's one of the things DPOR would look for is did you have that designated agency disclosure? Did you disclose to your client that your company represented both sides? And if you say no, if you don't have that, that puts you at exposure. That puts the whole company at exposure, and that's the first thing they'll go after is because they say you didn't disclose, and that's a big deal, very big deal. So anyway, so these buyer agreements are important. Practice a script with somebody about presenting it to somebody. Just do that every once in a while. Just make it natural, make it comfortable. Did you say something? Someone had something to say?
I was just going to say something I brought up to you a while back too, that like technically, according to the rule of the law in this, that if any of us does a deal with Daniel technically has to sign a dual representation agreement because he's our broker. So he's actually representing both parties in the instance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's probably true. I've never even done that with the previous brokerage. There was no dual representation, but I mean, that makes sense. It does make sense.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when we do, like at the very beginning, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when we put like your people's name and then collect and then broker, do I put your name or do I put the brokerage?
Broker, you can put Keaton and Company Real Estate.
Okay, because I asked Kat about this the other day, and I was like, I just don't want to, because before we always just put Newman and Dunn, so I just want to make sure we put the right thing.
Yeah, Keaton and Company Real Estate. Yeah, so down below where it says broker, insert name of firm above at the bottom. So that word is interchangeable. It's interchangeable. Broker and brokerage.
But you would just sign as Daniel Keaton, even though it says brokers and it says like the actual brokerage.
Correct. I would sign as my name, but broker, the term broker can be your principal broker or the company. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Good question. All right. Okay. So kind of a big change. We're gonna attempt something. Is everybody in? Everybody's in. Say yay. I want to hear unmuted mics. Everybody say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
Yay.
Kyla's like, yay.
Like, that's fantastic.
I keep turning off
okay.
my camera because I don't know if you want to look at me or not. There's not many of us that have our cameras on. So
I prefer to see you with the cowgirl hat on.
okay. I'm still here, right here.
You need to learn the cowboy boogie. I'm telling you, YouTube it, and then learn it and put that hat on.
Okay.
But anyway, I digress. All right, so we're in the process now. I know it's been a little bit, but it's kind of a lengthy process, and it's put on pause for a little bit. But we're setting up to have Boomtown, which is considered by many the best CRM. More top real estate teams of the top 250 teams use this than any other CRM. It's not a cheap one. It's going to be 3 times as expensive as 3 times expensive as the one we have now, but it's going to be good. I believe it's going to be good. So we want to use it. We want to utilize it. So one of the things we're going to do is a training on it. So if 75% of us do the training, then we'll get a discount. The company gets a discount. And the reason they do that is because they know that if you are trained on it, you're going to adopt it better. With the problem with a lot of technology companies, they fail or they're not utilized is because of the word adoption. People don't adopt it and use it in their business. So therefore it just gets put on the wayside and people don't take advantage and they don't make money off it. So we're gonna do this training. You don't have to do it. We don't have to do it as a group. I'm pretty sure there's a link in there that Duke was looking at, and you can just click on it and do the training, and then you're registered as somebody on there. This is going to be for the whole company. Kat and Ashley, you're going to have it too, but obviously the leads won't flow from it to you guys. But the cool thing with Boomtown is every person is going to get your own micro page from the main domain that you can do some edits to. You can do a little customization to, and you can create your own ads from it, right? So you can, let's say you have a listing and you want to put it out in a Mechanicsville Moms Facebook group. You put it out there, and then you can lock the page down, which you know about the forced opt-ins. So you put it out there, you lock it down, somebody clicks on it, and you get all the information. Boomtown is supposed to have the best basically opt-in features that gathers the most information. So what they've designed is you click on the listing, and by the time you get to like the third or fourth picture, the screen pops up and said to view more, register here. Now a lot of people are going to get ticked off. They're going to move away from it, but you're not looking for just browsers anyway. You're looking for people that you can get their information. And so they register, so they put their email in, and it's got to be legit email, and then their phone number is the password. So, of course, you'll get some negative passwords or whatever, or not real ones. But the point is, you can do this and generate your own leads. You don't have to put a link to Zillow anymore to one of the listings. By the way, you can find the listings on our current site, so you don't have to direct people to Zillow. But if you put a Zillow listing out there and somebody's paying for that ad, you're essentially giving Zillow the content so that somebody else can bring you a buyer. Versus this, you will be the exclusive person. You will be the only person that they see on there. You put a link, put it out there. We're going to go back to what we call the agent of the day model, where this is basically there will be 2 agents on duty plus Sarah every day. Ideally, we have it on 7 days a week because the leads come in Saturdays and Sundays as well, and sometimes more on those days. And the interesting thing is the lead activity is actually up. Our cost per leads are down right now, even though a lot of people are putting things on pause. This is the time, guys. I'm telling you, this is the time to start those relationships and nurture them. So anyway, 2 people on, and then Sarah each day, and it'll be in a round robin rotation. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, agent 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we'll have the similar rules as we've had, where if it's not called, then Sarah picks it up within 5 minutes. She jumps on it to make sure our speed to lead is good. And like I said, 1 day a week. That's all it is. 1 day a week. But basically, the schedule will look like this: 9:30. Right now, this is our virtual schedule. So 9:30, you log in to a Google Meets Hangouts thing, right? Like we're doing right now. So it's basically like that will be the accountability that you're locked in. You're ready to jump on these leads. 9:30, you log in. 10 o'clock, the leads start, and they start in rotation, and they go for 24 hours until 9:59 the next day. You're on one of 3 people to get rotation of the leads. We're getting anywhere from 12 to 20 leads a day, depending on the day. And so it should equal, 4 to 7 leads each day. Could be more than that. I think 12 is actually low end. I think we probably haven't gotten less than 15 in a day in a long time. But anyway, so that's kind of the goal. So that means the goal that would be you get between 20 and 30 a month. Which studies show realistically, if you get more than 1 per day, you have diminishing returns. So you lose the follow up and you lose the the ability to do good follow-up, right? And so while you guys are on, Sarah will be on with you guys, so you can be hearing her making the calls. She'll be seeing you making calls, and you guys will be able to train with each other, right? So you can encourage each other, build each other up, work together, and it's going to be like you are on a group meeting each one of the days. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be an experiment because we're going to do this virtually, and it'll ideally we do it where we come into the office, the agents come into the office, and you're together, you have synergy and all that stuff. I think we can pull it off. I think we can pull it off virtually as well. So it's a running meeting that you have that whole day. And then when you're not getting a lead, because the thing is the leads will come in, they come in sporadically. Sometimes they'll come in 3 in an hour, 4 in an hour, and sometimes it'll be 1 an hour or whatever, or less. But during that day, all you need is that one day a week. All we ask is that you're following up with previous ones, right? That you're nurturing, you're calling, you're texting, and you make it like that's your weekly appointment to set new appointments, right? That's your weekly appointment that other things don't get in the way of. Now, I realize life happens, and we have this same rule before, look, things happen, you have to go, a kid is sick from school, you got to go get them, which that's not happening right now, but whatever, you need to leave, and that's fine. It is what it is. Obviously, the leads will pause for you at that moment. Sarah will just pause it, and then it'll go to those other 2 people. Regarding the schedule, Duke has got a schedule that he's either finished or he's working on. He's going to put it out there. Due to the nature of having 16 people on this, it's hard to accommodate everybody's wishes on it. But I believe in working together, and I believe that if you have a day, let's say you have you're on Wednesdays, or you're on a particular Wednesday, it's not going to be consistent days, and you just can't do it that day. You've got a $1 million listing appointment, and you got to take your kid to the dentist or whatever. Just find one of the 16 other people and say, hey, can I switch a day with you this week? I mean, you're going to find somebody that will be able to do it with you. I'm sure of that. So it's just going to be a matter of working together. I think this is going to be good because I'm telling you guys, and I'm not to complain. I'm just bringing into my world that I spend a lot of time on Follow Up Boss, many late nights, just going through and saying, hey, can you follow up with this lead? Can you call this person? Remember to check off your tasks. And it's fine. That's part of what my role is. And I don't mind it. It's fine, but it's inefficient. It's just inefficient. As far as being accountable to the leads that we get. It's not good for you guys. You're going to close, I believe you're going to close more deals this way. We're going to close more deals as a company by just doing it this process. Now, with all that said, this is going to be a trial. And I'm so thankful for all of you guys who are so adaptive, that we're able to have meetings virtually during this time, that we're still together as a group. Thank you for all the folks who have been leading the classes and doing that stuff, and for you guys that have been chiming in for that, which has been awesome. Thank you so much for being adaptive and following our direction that I feel like God's just kind of leading us. Now this is a trial, so we're open to saying, a month into this, we're just like, this sucks, this is not good. Let's pivot and try something else. But I think this will be good. I have a feeling this is actually going to be good for everybody. And I think it'll be a more evenly distributed process. And I think the leads will be connected and contacted more. Any questions or any thoughts on any of this?
Yeah. What day do you have? What time do you have these things ending? When we don't have to be sitting in front of the computer?
9 to 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah,
and then, guys, I just want a word of encouragement on this. This is how we used to do it when there was 4 of us.
9:30 to 5. Sorry, 9:30 to 5.
That's how we used to do it when there was 4 of us on the team. It's awesome. I mean, it really is. You got to put some effort into it, and you got to be diligent about it. Like Daniel said, you want the leads, try your best, just not schedule an appointment on the day that you're scheduled to do this stuff. It's very, very beneficial. Also for me, like me, I'm one of the people that is not great at time management. So having a day of the week that I know I have to sit down in front of the computer and follow back up with my leads that I've already been working on, or follow back up with people, it's just really beneficial for me. So I highly encourage each one of us to try to commit to this hard, and you'll, as Daniel said, you're going to reap the benefits from it. Like, you're going to reap quite a bit of benefits from it right now.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Scott.
Daniel, with our current situation, not being able to be in the office, and we've got, kids at home and stuff like that, is it like, can we still get up if like I need to take care of Lucas?
No, you have to be in front of the screen.
Or is it like
you cannot change diapers
all day?
No. I mean, the idea of the screen is just an accountability that, if the screen cuts off for a minute, it's not like, oh gosh, you're cut, you're axed. I mean, but without accountability, there's no progress. Like, we won't make progress without accountability. So the screen is there for you guys to hold each other accountable as a group. That we're not going out for an hour at a time, and obviously you take a lunch break. Obviously your kids are need you here and there. That's not the type of system we want to set up, if that makes sense. And this will have to be an experiment. We'll have to learn. We'll have to go through it. I'm sure we'll have more questions like, can I go do this and still be considered on the leads? So as those questions come up, we'll deal with it, and we'll standard and policy, because it's not ideal, because ideally we come into the office and then we're focused there. But right now, I mean, I get it. My 4 kids are at home, and Tamara's there teaching them homeschooling. And, this is the first day that I've been working from the office in a while, and it's tricky. It is really tricky. I have to go in my bedroom and close the door, because it's the only place that I've been going in the bathroom just to sit and talk on the phone. And so I get it. It's life, but I think the idea is that you just commit to not leaving, which is actually pretty cool, because nobody's really leaving the house much anyway for like, whatever reason. We're not having to pick our kids up from school. We're not going to shopping at the mall, or whatever it is that we do as much. So it should be easier. And it's just one day a week, guys. It's one day a week. If you consider yourself a full-time real estate agent, you can commit one day a week to prospecting. Realistically, as Ben Swicegood, that should be done every single day, time blocked in the morning every single day, which you still encourage you guys to do that. Have a little block in the morning where you still do it, because some people you're going to talk to on that one day a week, that if you wait till the next week, they'll be gone, or they will have called another agent, or they will have made decisions without you, right? So you need to maintain those relationships. 30 minutes to an hour a day should be the foundation of every good real estate agent's schedule, where you prospect 30 minutes to an hour a day. But this is just one full day dedicated fully to it. Does that make sense?
Can I say 2 more things real quick, guys?
Yeah.
Number one, like what Daniel was saying about the like you do the agent of the day one day a week, with the intent that the leads you get on that one day, you then nurture for the next 6 days until you roll around. Because basically, if you do that, that's what we've, Daniel showed so many times in like presentations or statistics showing that like you have those X amount of reach outs until, a client actually makes contact, right? Like you actually have to reach out so many times. Well, if you do it once a day for 6 days, you're going to hit that point of hitting those amount of contacts to either get a response from them, a positive or negative, but you're finally going to get that response and get that answer from them. On the other note as well, just like as an encouragement, but also just like talking about Daniel, talking about the accountability part, like as Daniel pointed out, the leads he's getting more for the dollar right now, but they're still not cheap. There's a lot of money going into this stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of money going into generating these things. So encouragement for you guys is that, be honest, like, hey, if you got to step away for a couple hours and you're probably not going to be able to answer the phone, then let Sarah know, let somebody like, hey, you need to just go ahead and turn me off right now. Because again, we don't want these things just being completely wasted just because, like I said, we're not being truthful with it. So just, think about it. It's not just leads, but it's $1 of value associated with them as well. So
when does this start?
Well, we could experiment with it this week. Our goal is to try to get it really officially going next week and have a schedule out within the next day or two. But I'm willing, if you guys are saying, hey, I'm willing to give it a try. I can dedicate a whole day, one of these days this week. We can start with just a light, what do you call it, launch right now. But right now we would be through Follow Up Boss because Boomtown is still getting processed. Actually, we have the CRM, which if you guys have gotten it, you should have gotten an invite to it. So I'd say play around with it. If you have to Sarah sent a message and it went away.
When do we get access? Because I got an email with like my login and stuff. So when would we start using Boomtown?
Well, you can start playing with it now. So what we want to do is we want to transition. We want to transition from Follow Up Boss, everything going into Follow Up Boss to Boomtown. So that's kind of a big process because we have probably at least 10 or 12 different routing rules that lead, that bring leads into Follow Up Boss. So it's a decent amount of work. So we'll probably start transitioning that stuff once we have officially got everybody on, which will probably be next week. But for now, everything's still kind of flowing to Follow Up Boss. Maybe we'll take a day, might take a day where we just focus on that Thursday or Friday, pause everything, and then launch it again. And here's another thing is we're going to import everything from Follow Up Boss into Boomtown, but we're not sure. Like they can't even tell me like if all the tags and all the notes will be saved and all this stuff because they're two different systems. So this is going to be a challenge, but people do this, so we'll get through it. But I think it's important that you maybe make a list of your top, let's say 20 people that you're talking to, and make sure you can find them. Now they're going to be in your database. They're going to be there, but sorting them may be different than sorting them in Follow Up Boss. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so make a list of your top 20, and we're gonna pray that the guy helping us import it is gonna help us keep notes and tags and stuff as much as possible. So it'll be.
When do we start the training?
Huh?
When do we do the training? The training thing that's 75.
I believe the training can be done at any time.
Ooh.
Duke can confirm that because I think you can do either one. You can do a recorded training. I think then you can do like a live group training that they do. So that's once you log in, everybody log in, there's a little button that says you can join for the training. Is that cool?
Daniel, it also got to the point when you start clicking through there that you get to a point where it asks you to choose a phone number.
Yeah, everybody gets their own phone number.
Should we do that now or should we wait?
Yeah, do it. Everybody gets their own phone number.
Right.
Yep.
It says once you get it, you can't change it. So I didn't want to do it unless I was told to make,
No, yeah, go for it. Yep. Yeah, one of the cool features is it allows mass texting, so you can text 200 people at once. And they say, if you do the right kind of text, you text 200 people at one time, you're going to have a few hours of follow-up work to do because you're going to get people replying to you and you're going to have lots of conversations going on. So utilize that every single day. You can do 200. I think you can do 200 a day is what it is in a mass text, but I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. But they say there are little hacks I've heard from other people where you can text even more people by creating a new action plan and then adding like 500 people to an action plan, which will give an automatic text, which we can play with that a little bit and see how to hack into it. I'm sure we'll all learn little tricks as we go because this is like the Corvette of CRMs and there's lots of features to it. So we'll all help each other as we get through it.
And Daniel, another question. Once we switch to Boomtown, how long do we have access to Follow Up Boss before that's gone?
Good question. So I think they just took a payment out. So I think we probably have another 3 weeks on Follow Up Boss.
Okay, so it's a good idea during that time to cross-check and to go through your calendar of upcoming tasks because I know I have people tasks set up for a year out, right?
Yeah.
So if Boomtown doesn't take those tasks, you're gonna not know you're supposed to call John Smith in 3 months.
Sure.
So it'd be good to make a handwritten,
So maybe what we'll do is that's a good point. So maybe what we'll do is experiment with a few contacts and bring them in there, and then I'll keep you guys updated on what fields actually transition. What will transition? So hopefully tasks and appointments and stuff like that will transition. That would be very important. I would imagine that it would. I mean, they do this stuff all the time, but they're just very careful to make promises because I think just setting expectations. Oh my gosh, why am I seeing Nance? Change screen. Change screen.
No, you must look into my face.
All right.
What are like the biggest differences, I guess, between Boomtown and Follow Up Boss, other than the auto? Because not really the auto emails, because Follow Up Boss does the auto emails, right?
Yeah, auto emails, auto texts. That's one thing. Follow Up Boss does one initial auto text. This, you can create an action plan where an auto text goes out every day if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. The CRM has better like preset action plans that actually that are actually more intelligent. So, like, let's say a lead comes into your Boomtown site, and they're searching for homes on your site. It's going to let you know and keep you updated on what homes they're looking at. If somebody is a hot prospect, it'll tell you, because it'll say this person has been very active on the site. You need to contact this person today, right? So there's a lot of artificial intelligence behind it that helps you sort the people, because hypothetically you bring them into your site. That's where they're searching for homes. They're searching for homes on your own site, and then you get that data from them. They'll say, hey, this client looked at this house 3 times in the last 24 hours. Might be a good time to reach out to them, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of intelligence to it. And then the feature of everybody has their own website, so to speak. It's a microsite on the page. So it'll probably be something like KeatonandCompany.com/Jelena Atkinson or something like that. And it'll have your information, and people can search the MLS. And as long as they're searching through your site, anytime they do activity and they fill in a lead form, it goes to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I need a what?
A human to hang with in real life. So with Follow Up Boss, just one thing I've noticed, and I mean, I'm super new and I could just be misunderstanding the system, so just correct me if I'm wrong, but I've had a couple instances in which I'll get a lead and I'll call them right away, certainly within the 5 minutes, probably sooner. And what'll happen is, like, I'll talk to them on the phone and we'll have a full conversation. But then the Follow Up Boss will automatically send a text message from Alex. And then it makes me look kind of silly, because they're like, wait, like, I just talked to someone from the company, but then they're getting this like introductory auto text from Alex. And then not only does it sound silly, but also it's a different person to them. Yeah. So is there a way in Boomtown to have that auto text not go out for like at least 3 minutes or something, because at least or like to be able to stop it from going out? I don't know.
Yeah, we can set time limits on it even in Follow Up Boss. So I know you can do that in Boomtown. So we could say 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. I didn't know it sent it out when you call them and you claimed it and you claimed the lead.
It does it like so fast that, I mean,
I think it's within a minute or so. Yeah.
Like, I've hung up the phone with them and then they'll get the text. And then one time it was really awkward because I gave the guy my personal phone number. We talked over the phone. We were texting over the phone, but then he was also texting Alex, thinking it was a different person, like 2 separate conversations. And I didn't know how to tell the guy. I just had to tell him, oh, like, that's an assistant for Keaton and Company.
Yeah.
They're just sending the information, the questions over to me. If you want, like, we'll just talk about it via this like chat stream. Cause I didn't want to make you feel stupid and be like, that's a robot.
Yeah, that's a robot.
It was really awkward.
When they're talking to a robot. So yeah. I mean, I just usually tell them it's an assistant, and they jump on something, in which it is. Alex Smith is an artificial intelligent assistant. So,
but Dan, if you log the call, that text doesn't go out. At least it shouldn't. It's not supposed to. And it also shows you in the queue. It shows you that it's about to go out. You can stop it if you're in. You just got to
on your computer.
Yeah, pull up.
Yeah, but like, sometimes I'm not at my computer. If I'll claim a lead, like, I might be sitting in the living room with my son, have my phone in my hand, claim the lead, call them, and log it. But if I'm not at my then I would have to get up, go to my laptop, log in, follow up boss, and I mean, which I can do, but I can't do it as quickly as, you know, if I have it in my phone on my hand. And I can still have a whole conversation with them, type notes, you know, and all that through my phone, but I can't do some of that action unless I'm in front of my computer, which is just less time, at least at the moment, with my son home.
In that case, knowing that, maybe you didn't know, but knowing that that text is going to go out in 1 minute, if I'm not at my computer, I purposely wait a minute and a half.
Okay.
Daniel probably doesn't want to hear that, but I'll wait 30 seconds after that text. That way I'm now following up from the text instead of just before the text. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't know there was like a time frame. I'm like, how is this happening? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's one, I think it's
1
1
minute, and
minute.
then you're reiterating what the text said when you call. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, good point. Alrighty, cool. So we will we'll work on that and launch it, and more details to come. And so everybody check your emails and start getting familiar with it. Start playing around with the app. If you didn't get one, send Duke a message. He'll send out an invite to you.
And I just wanted to, I don't know if he wants to talk, but if Herbie wanted to just
Oh yeah, Herbie, is he still here?
say anything at all, he could.
He's probably tuned out. We've been jabbering for so long.
Maybe. Well, anyway, he might be going on some trainings and kind of observing. He's taking his test to get his real estate license whenever they allow testing again. And he's kind of interviewing and looking around at different brokerages. And he's talked to me and Daniel, so he wants to kind of just join us and see a little bit more about us. And so we're hoping that he comes on board with us. But if you see that phone number, I guess until he's official, that's Herbie.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for joining in, and thank y'all for adapting and continuing to hustle and working through this crazy time. I'm excited and encouraged by all of you guys. Appreciate all of y'all. And until tomorrow, when Stag gives us a 10:30.
Hey, Daniel.
Yes.
Herbie said he's trying to talk, but it's not coming through. He's probably doesn't know.
His mic is muted. Tell him to touch the screen and then hit the microphone button.
Yeah, if you touch your screen, you should see a little microphone button, and you click it.
Yeah, I bet that's what's happening. It's showing he's muted right now.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
All right, love you, Nance. I'm gonna send you Cowboy Boogie.
Okay. I have to go because somebody keeps calling me.
Okay. All right, we're done. All
Sorry.
right.
All right, Herbie. Did you say Herbie or Harvey?
Herbie.
Herbie.